The Fisherman's Lament. Samuel had always found solace in the peaceful solitude of Possessed Lake. The cool breeze, the gentle lapping of the water against the shore, and the quiet hum of nature had a calming effect on his weary soul. But ever since that fateful day when he lost his beloved wife, Amelia, in a tragic accident at the lake, Samuel had become a ghost of his former self. Now, each day Samuel returned to the lake, haunted by the memories of his wife and desperate to feel her presence once more. As he cast his fishing line into the still waters, he hoped to find a connection to Amelia, a sign that her spirit remained near. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Samuel began to notice something strange about the lake. The fish he caught were unlike any he had ever seen before. Their scales tinged with an eerie, otherworldly glow, and their eyes filled with an almost human despair. And with each new catch, Samuel felt a strange compulsion to unravel the mysteries surrounding these creatures. He became obsessed, believing that the key to understanding the lake's chilling secrets and Amelia's tragic fate lay within the depths of the water. As Samuel ventured further into the darkness, he found himself confronted by horrifying visions and twisted memories of the lake's past. He saw the faces of those who had been lost to its depths, their anguished cries echoing through his mind as they revealed the stories of their demise. The lake's malevolent power seemed to feed on the pain and suffering of the souls it had claimed, and with every new revelation, Samuel felt himself slipping further into its nightmarish grip. His sanity began to fray, leaving him a shell of the man he once was. The townspeople, once sympathetic to his plight, began to avoid him, whispering about the strange fisherman who seemed to be losing his mind at the haunted lake. But Samuel could not abandon his quest. He was convinced that the answers he sought were just within his grasp, and that if he could just piece together the horrifying puzzle, he would finally uncover the truth about Amelia's fate and find a way to reconnect with her spirit. One stormy night, Samuel ventured out onto the lake, determined to confront the malevolent force that had taken his wife from him. As the rain lashed down and lightning illuminated the sky, he cast his line into the water, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. As he reeled in his final catch, a sickening realization washed over him. The fish that struggled on his line bore the tortured face of his beloved Amelia, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and terror. The truth of her fate was revealed. Her soul had been ensnared by the lake's dark power, trapped within the body of the very fish he had been so desperately seeking. Overwhelmed by grief and horror, Samuel was forced to confront the terrible reality that his own obsession had led him deeper into the lake's nightmarish grip, and that he had become an unwitting pawn in its twisted game. As the storm raged round him, Samuel made a desperate choice. He released Amelia's spirit from her watery prison, sacrificing his own life to ensure that she would finally be free from the lake's malevolent grasp. As he slipped beneath the waves, his final thoughts were of the love he shared with his wife, and the hope that they would be reunited in a place far from the darkness of the possessed lake. The lake's waters stilled, its sinister secrets locked away once more. But for Samuel, the fisherman whose love had been both his salvation and his undoing, the haunting melody of the possessed lake would echo in his heart forever. Years passed, and the legend of the fisherman and his tragic quest spread throughout the town. The possessed lake, once a place of beauty and tranquility, now served as a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath its surface. Samuel's story became a cautionary tale, warning of the danger of venturing too deep into the mysteries of the unknown. But despite the tales of the fisherman's lament and the lake's malevolent power, there were those who still felt drawn to its shores. Some were driven by curiosity, others by a desperate desire to reconnect with lost loved ones, but all would find themselves entranced by the haunting melody of the possessed lake. The spirits of Samuel and Amelia, forever bound to the lake's dark depths, watched over those who came to its shores. Their love, once a beacon of hope in the face of despair, had become an eternal testament to the power of the human spirit to endure, even in the face of unimaginable horror. As the seasons changed and the years slipped by, the possessed lake continued to cast its eerie spell over those who dared to venture too close. And though the waters remained calm and the fisherman's lament had faded into the mists of time, the echo of their love story lived on, a haunting reminder of the power of love to triumph over the darkness and the pain that lay hidden beneath the surface of the world. And so, the possessed lake would forever bear witness to the heartbreak and sorrow that had unfolded within its depths, a silent guardian of the secrets it had claimed and the love that had been lost to its malevolent grasp. The drowning whispers. It had been a tradition for years. Every summer, a group of 6 friends would make their way to the possessed lake, a secluded spot deep in the woods for a weekend of laughter, swimming, and reminiscing about old times. The lake had been given its ominous name due to the countless ghost stories and urban legends that surrounded it. Despite this, the friends found solace in the beauty and tranquility of the place. This year, however, something felt off from the moment they arrived. A thick tension hung in the air, and an unsettling silence filled the once vibrant forest. At first they brushed it off as nothing more than nerves, but as the day wore on, the feeling grew stronger, and a sense of dread settled over the group. That night, as they gathered around the campfire, the whispers began. At first they were barely audible, barely distinguishable from the rustling of leaves or the crackling of the fire. But as the night waxed on, the whispers became louder, more persistent, and it was as if the lake itself was calling out to them, urging them to enter its dark depths. Driven by an inexplicable curiosity, one of the friends, Sarah, ventured towards the water's edge. She could no longer resist the whispers that beckoned her to the cold embrace of the lake. And as she submerged herself in the water, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they drowned out everything else. The others watched in horror as Sarah was pulled beneath the surface. Her final cries for help lost amidst the whispers that now seemed to surround them. Panic and grief gripped the group, and as they searched for their lost friend, they found themselves drawn to the water, unable to resist the voices that promised answers and solace in the chilling depths. One by one they succumbed to the lake's eerie call. Each friend who entered the water found themselves ensnared in the lake's dark history, their lives becoming intertwined with the souls of those who had come before them. As the survivors struggled to, as the friends were pulled deeper into the lake's web of lies and deception, they began to unravel the truth behind the curse. The lake's malevolent force was a manifestation of the anger and sorrow of the souls lost to its waters, seeking new victims to join their eternal torment. The remaining friends realized that the only way to break the curse was to confront the lake's dark past and bring the truth to light. But as they delved into the horrifying secrets that had been buried beneath the water's surface for generations, they found themselves trapped in a deadly game of survival. With time running out and the whispers growing louder, the friends were forced to confront their own fears and the sinister power that held them captive. And as they fought to escape the lake's deadly embrace, they discovered that the true horror of the possessed lake lay not in the whispers that haunted its depths, but in the darkness that lurked within their own hearts. As the group dwindled down to just 3 survivors, Mark, Emily, and Alex, they decided to take matters into their own hands. With their friends lost to the lake's cold depths and the chilling whispers constantly haunting them, they knew they had no choice but to face the darkness head-on. They ventured into the town's dusty library, where they hoped to find more information on the lake's origins and the curse that had ensnared their friends. Hunched over ancient, yellowed newspapers and brittle books, they pieced together the tragic story of a young couple who had drowned in the lake more than a century ago. Their deaths, shrouded in mystery and betrayal, had sparked the curse that now bound the souls of countless victims to the lake. Determined to break the curse and free their friends, Mark, Emily, and Alex returned to the possessed lake under the cloak of night. Armed with the knowledge of the lake's dark history, they gathered on the shore and began a ritual they had discovered in an old, forgotten book. They hoped that by enacting the ritual, they could appease the spirits that haunted the lake and put an end to the torment. As they chanted and drew symbols in the wet sand, the whispers seemed to grow louder, their voices a cacophony of anger and sorrow. The water of the lake churned and swelled as if the spirits were fighting against their efforts. The remaining friends held their ground, determined to see the ritual through and save their friends. In the heart of the storm, a figure emerged from the water, the ghostly apparition of the young woman who had drowned so long ago. Eyes filled with rage and sorrow bore into the survivors as she spoke of the betrayal that had led to her death and the centuries of torment that had followed. Touched by her tragic story, Emily stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. She pleaded with the spirit to find forgiveness in her heart and release the souls trapped in the lake's depths. As Emily's heartfelt words echoed across the water, a change came over the spirit. The rage in her eyes seemed to dissipate, replaced by a look of weary resignation. A sudden calm descended upon the lake, and the whispers that had haunted the group grew silent. The surface of the water became still, and one by one the lost friends emerged from the depths. Disoriented but alive, the curse had been broken, and the spirits that had been bound to the possessed lake for so long were finally free. As the sun began to rise, Mark, Emily, and Alex held their friends close, grateful for their narrow escape from the clutches of the lake's curse. Though their ordeal had come to an end, they knew that they would never forget the horrors they had faced or the dark secrets that had been hidden beneath. the lake's surface, and though the whispers had been silenced, the possessed lake would forever hold the memories of the countless souls who had been lost to its depths, a chilling reminder of the darkness that had once haunted its waters. The Sunken Village. Dr. Henry Chambers, a renowned underwater archaeologist, had always been fascinated by the mysteries hidden beneath the surface of the possessed lake. The lake had been shrouded in dark folklore and whispered legends for centuries, but no one had ever uncovered any concrete evidence to support the chilling tales. Determined to shed light on the truth, Dr. Chambers led an ambitious underwater expedition, hoping to reveal the lake's secrets once and for all. Deep beneath the murky waters, Dr. Chambers and his team discovered the remains of an ancient village, its time-worn structures eerily preserved. Excited by this groundbreaking discovery, they began to explore the Sunken Village, unaware of the malevolent force that lay dormant within it. As they sifted through the ruins, Dr. Chambers found a strange artifact, a stone tablet etched with cryptic symbols and markings. Unbeknownst to him, this artifact was the key to awakening the entity that had once terrorized the village, as a dark and powerful being whose malevolence knew no bounds. With the artifact's removal from its watery resting place, the entity stirred from its slumber, its anger and hunger for revenge growing stronger by the minute. As the team continued their research, they began to experience a series of inexplicable and terrifying incidents. Equipment malfunctioned, shadows seemed to come alive, and whispers echoed through the darkness. Unnerved but undeterred, Dr. Chambers pressed on with his investigation, consumed by the need to understand the village's watery demise. As the evil influence spread to the nearby town, the locals found themselves plagued by nightmares, mysterious illnesses, and unexplained tragedies. Realizing the connection between the Sunken Village and the strange occurrences, Dr. Chambers delved deeper into the history of the artifact, the entity it had unleashed. He discovered that the village had been sacrificed to the lake to appease the malevolent force that had haunted their lives. The villagers had hoped that submerging their home beneath the water would imprison the entity and protect future generations from its wrath. Dr. Chambers knew that he had to find a way to return the entity to its watery prison, but in order to do so, he had to confront his own demons, the guilt of his past failures, and the fear that he had unleashed an unstoppable force upon the world. As the darkness closed in around him, he realized that the key to defeating the entity lay in understanding the cryptic markings on the stone tablet. With time running out, Dr. Chambers worked tirelessly to decipher the ancient text, hoping to find a way to reverse the damage he had unwittingly caused. As he pieced together clues, he realized that the answer lay in a ritual, one that could return the entity to its watery prison and restore peace to the town. As the malevolent force grew stronger and the town teetered on the brink of chaos, Dr. Chambers and his team prepared to confront the darkness. Armed with knowledge of the ritual and a newfound resolve, they ventured back to the depths of the possessed lake, ready to face the evil they had unleashed in a tense and terrifying confrontation beneath the water's surface. Dr. Chambers and his team performed the ritual, their voices ringing out through the darkness as they fought to send the entity back to its watery tomb. As they completed the ritual, the waters of the lake began to churn and boil, and the entity let out a scream of rage and despair. With the entity banished once more, the dark cloud that had hung over the town began to lift. The villagers, though shaken by the horrors they had witnessed, were grateful for their salvation and the knowledge that the malevolent force was once again imprisoned beneath the lake. Dr. Chambers, haunted by the consequences of his actions, vowed never to disturb the resting place of the entity again. He returned the stone tablet to the depths of the possessed lake, ensuring that the malevolent force remained trapped within its watery prison, though the Sunken Village remained a testament to the dark history of the lake. Dr. Chambers realized that some mysteries were best left undiscovered. As the years passed, the town slowly returned to normal, the memories of the terror they had experienced fading into the shadows of the past. Dr. Chambers, however, could never forget the evil he had unwittingly unleashed. The experience had changed him, driving him to dedicate his life to researching the darker aspects of history and the supernatural forces that existed just beyond the realm of human understanding. Though the entity remained dormant beneath the lake, its presence continued to cast a shadow over town. Whispers of the Sunken Village and the horrors that had been unleashed became a cautionary tale. Passed down through generations, the possessed lake, once a symbol of beauty and tranquility, now served as a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath the surface of even the most serene landscapes. Dr. Chambers, his hair now streaked with gray and his face etched with lines of worry, continued to keep a watchful eye on the possessed lake, ensuring that the evil force remained undisturbed. As he stood on the shore, gazing out at the still waters that hid the sunken village from view. He knew that the battle he had fought was not the end of the story, but merely a chapter, for deep beneath the surface, the malevolent entity lay in wait, trapped within its watery tomb, but ever patient, ever watchful, and ever ready for the day when it might once again be released to wreak havoc on the world above. The Reflection's Curse. Olivia, a talented and ambitious photographer, had always been captivated by the possessed lake. The way the sunlight kissed the water's surface at dusk, casting a shimmering golden glow over still waters, called to her like a siren's song. She became consumed with the idea of capturing the perfect shot, an image that would immortalize the lake's haunting beauty and propel her career to new heights. Night after night, Olivia returned to the lake, her camera in hand, snapping photo after photo as the sun dipped below the horizon. But as she reviewed her work, she began to notice something peculiar, a sinister presence lurking within each reflection in the water. Unable to shake the feeling that she was being drawn into something beyond her understanding, Olivia embarked on a journey to unravel the mystery of the lake's haunted past. She delved into the town's archives, uncovering a tragic tale of love, betrayal, and revenge that had unfolded on the shores of the possessed lake generations ago. The story spoke of a young woman named Leela, who had fallen in love with a man who was not her betrothed. As their secret affair flourished, Lila's jealous fiancé discovered the truth and, in a fit of rage, murdered the unsuspecting lovers as they shared a tender embrace by the lake. Their bodies were cast into the depths, their souls forever bound to the water that had become their watery grave. As Olivia dug deeper, she began to realize that the sinister presence in her photographs was a manifestation of Lila's restless spirit. Trapped between worlds and cursed to haunt the lake for eternity, the revelation both terrified and captivated Olivia, fueling her obsession to capture the essence of the tragic tale in her work. As the sun set each night, Olivia found herself drawn back to the lake, her camera at the ready. But with each passing day, the line between her reality and the cursed reflection in the water began to blur. The spirit of Leela reached out to her, whispering dark secrets and revealing long-buried truths about the town's history. Consumed by her quest to understand the lake's curse, Olivia's life began to unravel. Her relationships faltered, her work suffered, and her once keen eye for beauty was clouded by the darkness that had taken hold of her heart. The boundary between the living and the dead grew thinner, and Olivia found herself teetering on the edge, her sanity threatened by the weight of the tragic tale she had unearthed. As the sun dipped below the horizon one fateful evening, Olivia stood on the shore, her camera trained on the lake's shimmering surface. The spirit of Leela beckoned, her ghostly form visible in the water's reflection, a haunting vision of love and loss. Summoning the last of her courage, Olivia confronted the spirit, begging for release from the grip of the curse. In a chilling confrontation, Leela forced Olivia to face her own darkest fears, her doubts, insecurities, and the pain that had been buried deep within her soul. As Olivia faced the darkness within herself, she found the strength to break free from the curse's hold. She captured the perfect shot, immortalizing Lila's tragic tale, a single haunting image that would forever be etched in her memory. With the curse broken and Lila's spirit freed from its eternal torment, Olivia returned to her life, forever changed by her experience at the possessed lake. The dark shadows that had clouded her heart were lifted, and she found solace in the knowledge that she had brought closure to a tale of love, betrayal, and revenge that had haunted the town for generations. But deep within the waters of the possessed lake, the echoes of the tragic past still lingered, though Lila's spirit had found peace. The dark energy that had once bound her to the lake remained, a dormant force waiting for the right moment to resurface. Over time, Olivia's haunting photograph of Lila's spirit gained widespread acclaim. The image, both beautiful and chilling, became a symbol of the power of love to transcend even the darkest of places. People came from far and wide to visit the possessed lake, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ethereal beauty that Olivia had captured in her work. Though the lake had regained a semblance of its former serenity, whispers of the curse and the dark history that had unfolded on its shores continued to circulate among the townspeople. Some claimed to see ghostly figures in the water's reflection, while others spoke of strange, haunting melodies that echoed across the lake at twilight. As the years passed, the legend of the possessed lake and the spirit of Leela lived on, a constant reminder of the town's tragic past and the power of love to both heal and destroy. The water, once a mirror to the darkest depths of the human soul, now held the promise of redemption and the hope of a brighter future. But beneath the surface, the darkness that had once consumed the possessed lake lay dormant, its energy held at bay by the love and sacrifice of those who had come before. And as the sun set each night, casting its golden glow over the water, the spirits of Lily and her lost love watched over the lake. Their eternal vigil a testament to the enduring power of love and the fragile balance between light and darkness. The shadow beneath the surface. Whispers of a mysterious figure lurking on the shore of the possessed lake had long haunted the small town. Every night, as darkness fell, the shadowy figure would appear, standing motionless, watching and waiting. The locals, old and young alike, shared chilling tales of the entity, but fear held them back, and no one dared approach it. One fateful evening, a group of bored and thrill-seeking teenagers decided to confront the legend head-on. Armed with nothing but their bravado and a burning curiosity, they ventured to the lake under the cover of night. As they approached the water's edge, they caught sight of the figure, its form cloaked in darkness, its eyes glowing with an eerie, malevolent light. Ignoring the knot of fear twisting in their stomachs, the teenagers called out to the entity, daring it to reveal itself. To their shock and horror, the figure responded, beckoning them to come closer. As if entranced, the teenagers stepped forward, unable to resist the pull of the entity's gaze. That suddenly, the ground beneath them gave way, and they found themselves plunged into the depths of the possessed lake. As they sank deeper into the cold, dark water, a nightmarish world unfolded around them, populated by twisted creatures and distorted landscapes born from their darkest fears and anxieties. The teenagers, realizing they were trapped in a realm of terror, desperately sought a way to escape. They navigated the treacherous world beneath the lake, battling monstrous manifestations of their own fears and struggling to hold on to their sanity. As they delved deeper into the nightmarish realm, they discovered fragments of the truth about the mysterious figure in the possessed lake. They learned that the figure was a tormented soul bound to the lake as punishment for a terrible crime committed long ago. The lake, fueled by the figure's anguish and the dark energy it attracted, had become a prison for lost souls and a breeding ground for unspeakable horrors. Determined to break free from the lake's sinister grip, the teenagers sought the heart of the nightmarish realm, where they hoped to confront the shadowy figure and uncover the key to their escape. As they drew closer, they found themselves tested to their limits, their deepest fears and insecurities threatening to overwhelm them. Finally, they reached the heart of the realm, where the mysterious figure awaited them. As they confronted the entity, they realized that their only hope of escape lay in facing their own demons and helping the figure find redemption for its past crimes. Together, the teenagers and the figure embarked on a harrowing journey through the nightmarish world, confronting the darkness that had consumed the lake in their own hearts. Along the way, they discovered that the true power of the possessed lake lay not in the figure's torment, but in the fear and despair that fed its malevolent energy. With newfound courage and understanding, the group confronted the source of the lake's dark power, severing its connection to the nightmarish realm and freeing the figure from its eternal punishment. As the realm crumbled around them, they found themselves thrust back to the surface, gasping for breath and forever changed by their harrowing ordeal. The mysterious figure, now freed from its curse, vanished into the night, leaving the possessed lake and the town forever changed. The teenagers, their lives forever marked by their journey into the darkness, vowed never to forget the lessons they had learned beneath the surface of the possessed lake, that the power of fear could be conquered, and that redemption was possible even in the darkest of places.